Hello YouTubers, Tross here, and I'm here with an update to my schematic to command block utility. If you don't know what that is, it takes a schematic file generated by McEdit or certain other Minecraft editing programs and turns it into commands that you can put in command blocks to recreate that schematic inside of a Minecraft world. Now, if you have access to the world, like it's a single player world, that's not very useful. It's much easier just opening up the single player world with the editor like McEdit and putting the schematic in. But if you're playing on a server and you obviously don't have access to the world files, but you do have access to command blocks either by being what's known as an operator or an op on that server, or if the owner of the server, person who runs the server, gives you access to command blocks, then you can use this utility to add your own schematics into the world without needing access to the world files. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to step away here from the game for a second. And you'll get a zip file. In the description is a link to my Dropbox with a zip file. The zip file will have a README, and it will have the latest version of my schematic to command block for version 1.2 of Minecraft. This is an update for version 1.2 of Minecraft. There was a few different changes in how commands were handled, and obviously new blocks like the concrete and terracotta, glazed terracotta, I should say. If you have Java for Minecraft, that's the only version I've tested this with, the Java Minecraft version. You should just have Java already, so jar files should just work when you double click on them. And there we go. It's got a little description text at the beginning here, how to use it. You can read it. But for example, I am going to let's go over to the directory I have my latest testing schematics in. I'm going to just use this creeper schematic. It's one I've used before, but it's a good one. This takes one command block to generate. I'm going to drag this down here a little bit. So first, you need to get a command block. And you can do that by typing in give @p and hit tab twice, and it automatically fills in Minecraft command block. Press enter. Now I have a command block. I'm just going to put that command block down here. I am in creative mode already. You need to be in creative mode to use command blocks. You did not realize that. You might have also saw me flying, so that might have given it away. And the command to create this schematic is right here. You can either manually highlight it and hit Control C, or you can click copy command 1. There is only one command here. It says that right here. This middle part is kind of new. We'll get to that in a moment. You paste it in, and then you activate the command block with redstone. Either I like to use a redstone torch. You can use a redstone block. You can use buttons, levers, whatever. And bam, there's the schematic. A few notes. I am currently facing south. By default, the command the command block you place in the northwest corner of the area you want it to build. It will build starting at its same height level. It won't go below by default. There are some controls to change the offset, but by default, if it's at all zeros, this command block will be at the northwest corner of the build area. It tells you this was width of 10, length of 14. Width is east-west, length is north-south, height is up-down, obviously. And you can see with one command, long command, but it's one command, we get this nice creeper base. We got some furniture inside. I've tested many different things, not all combinations, but you can see it does support, flower pots. It supports different items in chests. It should all be recreated. It also supports importing mobs. By default, hostile mobs are not imported, but passive, farm animals will be chickens, cows, pigs, etc. There is a switch. Several switches. I guess I'll go over them quickly here. Quiet will make it so the command block doesn't make output into text chat. Otherwise, all operators would get lots of text chat. There's not that there's one command per block, but it would be a few hundred or thousand commands showing up. And you generally don't want that. Clear clears the area, fills it with air first before putting in the schematic. No dangerous blocks is a new one. If this is checked, it should be giving me tooltips, but it's not for whatever reason. There are tooltip descriptions of these. Normally, I think it's the recording software that's interfering. But basically, no dangerous blocks, it means, at least currently, it won't import lava, TNT, or fire. I tried importing one schematic that was obviously created on a server that had fire spread turned off, and it promptly burned itself down. So this will not put in the fire or lava and or TNT, because that's also potentially dangerous, and so you won't potentially destroy badly built schematics. No monsters is what I was saying before. Oh, there's a tooltip, so I'll have to check that one. No monsters will remove hostile mobs. No mobs won't import mobs at all. Remove barrier blocks. Sometimes schematics use barrier blocks, especially with flying machines, so they don't immediately take off. This will automatically remove barrier blocks at the end. Ignore wire power. Basically, normally every bit of redstone wire has a different power because the power decreases, and they're all technically different blocks, or they need different data. So this ignores it and just puts it in all as 0, and you may need to toggle levers off and on to get the wires to be at the right power, but it makes far less commands, especially if it's a big redstone creation. Complex rails, I'll actually get to that in a minute. Min water will only import the source blocks instead of all the values. In general, you want all the values, otherwise you need to go around updating the water. And min entities have a lot of data like health and stuff. Entities are mobs or blocks, or how much time is left before something despawns. So with minimize entities, it puts in just the default properties and lets the game fill in. Well, lets the game fill in the defaults. It just puts in the basic ones you need to know, like what type of entity is it, where is it, which way is it facing, and that's about it. By default, everything will get full health and other things like that. So that's the basic options. There's a few things, though, you may be asking. Why would you use this when there's things in the game, like in my toolbar here, like structure blocks? Well, structure will let you copy within a single world, but it doesn't copy perfectly, even though it's part of the game. For example, here's something I have called rail test. Let's hit save. You can see we got like a zigzag going north-south and a zigzag going east-west. Let's load it. And look what happens. Rails are a little strange. There's also a few other blocks that are a little strange. Rails in particular, whenever you put down a rail, it may not face the direction you're facing depending on what rails are around it. And that's actually what happens when the game tries to recreate this. It actually does put the rails in with the correct data, I believe, but because it doesn't put them in in the actual order you need to make the right zigzag, it kind of puts them east to west. You wind up getting east to west zigzagging rails because they're basically all put in at the same time. Now, my utility also has the same issue by default. If there's rails right next to each other, they may not be placed in the correct order, or the order they're placed in may not be what they were originally placed in, and so they'll come out differently. If you check complex rails, though, my utility tries to figure out what order to place the rails in and put them in that correct order. And I actually have to go back to the other directory, which is over here. Data schematics, and this is rail test 2. So complex rails, it does take more commands, a bigger command to generate the rail or regenerate the schematic. And let's just paste that in. And if I put the torch down now, you can see it did regenerate correctly. It does have a north-south zigzag and an east-west zigzag. So that's one of the reasons to use my utility. Another one is schematics work in our schematics. Structure blocks work within one world, but if you want to copy to another world, you then have to go into this world's save file, grab the saved schematic file, put it in the other world, and if you don't have access to the one of the world's files or both of the world's files, it's not going to work for you. So that's another issue that my utility tries to address. Now, what if your schematic is not, I mean, this isn't small, but hey, it was one command block. Well, let's see, what can we do? I have, go back to the other schematic directory, the newer schematics I've been testing with. Let's try Tower Complete. This is 64 by 64, it's 185 blocks high, and it only takes 26 commands to generate. Well, if you try to place 64 blocks, or 26 command blocks, you may lose count or other such. Let me move away from here a little bit so I know I don't run into some of those other schematics. So I have added a new feature. Alright, that should be plenty far enough. Basically, you want to place your first command block facing up, or at least not north. And then you come and you copy this command block generator command. And you put it in here. And you activate it. Now, the reason why you don't want to face it north is it's going to replace itself with an empty command block and 25 other ones. So you have 26 in total. Here we go. There we go. 26 in total. And we have a little flying machine here that will go and activate all of them for us in order. Now, most of them are facing north, basically with the circle side facing you. But every fifth one faces up. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, and to keep track of things, the 25th faces south, so you get a square. So every 5 will be facing up, except every 25 will be facing south. So you get, the circles, the arrow ups, and the squares, so you can keep track. So I am going to fill these up. Hopefully it will just take me a minute or two. Basically, I right click on there, I click copy command 1, paste, done, right click, copy command 2, paste, done, right click, copy command 3, paste, done. There is a bit of lag as it processes the command to make sure it's syntactically correct. That was 4. You can now see, hey, we're looking at the arrow one. This is 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Square one is number 25. And finally 26. Alright, we're all ready. We can start this flying machine to run all the commands just by putting any block on the face, any movable block, obsidian, chests, furnaces, things like that won't work. This will now move along, executing every one of these commands in order. There'll be some lag, but you can see it's building from the bottom to the top this giant tower that was specified in the schematic. And then it actually goes back and later adds liquids like water, and there's lava on one or two of these floors somewhere. Maybe I passed it already. Thought there was. Must be thinking of a different schematic. But it gets to the end, there is a furnace, it automatically stops. I recommend you take out the redstone block first, and then the two observers, so there's no chance it will fly back, and reactivate them. If you activate those in the wrong order, there'll be problems. The only slight issue is for every command you get one block of sand, because I use falling sand to generate the blocks. But yes, you get this nice tower. And any schematics should work as long as, you know, a normal .schematic file. And there's a chest all the way up at the top. Nothing in it in this case, but probably moved much further away than I needed. And to show off the updates, or at least one of the updates, let's choose Rainbow Terracotta Creeper. This takes two commands. I'm just going to manually do them. I don't need a flying machine for just two commands. Copy command 2, paste. 1, 2, and there we go. Our Rainbow Terracotta Creeper, showing that yes, we do now support Minecraft 1.2. If you haven't actually seen, yeah, up in the top corner there, Minecraft 1.2, 1.12. Minecraft 1.12 with the new terracotta and concrete blocks. And that's about all there is for this utility. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.